Okay guys, today we're going to do some volume. If you remember, volume is the space that something takes up, right? The capacity of a rectangular prism is what we're going to look at right now. So when we have things like boxes, like my Code Games box right here, or a box of crayons that is a rectangular prism, its volume is how many little cubic units I can fit inside that box. And if you remember in school, we put together those Unifix cubes to create boxes. So let's look at how we would find the volume of a rectangular prism if I didn't have dimensions, but I just had the cubes. So here's an example of one. I have this rectangular prism right here. I'm just tracing it over in purple so it stands out a little better for you. If I want to do the volume by counting the blocks, I need to figure out my base and my height and my area. So if we're going to count blocks, I'm going to be, my visual person that I am, I'm going to use this to shade in one of the layers of this box. So one layer, which is the bottom layer, is a 3 by 3 layer. It's only one high. So if it was a 3 by 3 layer, that layer takes 9 cubes. Then if I go up one more layer, that layer is also 9 cubes. And then if I were to go up one more layer, this one I can see the top of these cubes, I have another 9 cubes on the top. So I have 3 layers of 9. So my base area is 9. So I can find the volume by finding the base area times the height, which would be 9 cubes on the base times 3 levels high, which is 27. So I find the base one layer, which is 9, and multiply it by the height of the areas. Okay? That's one way to find it if I have those cubes. If I don't have cubes and I have the dimensions, if you remember we talked about the the formula for volume. And the formula for volume is length times width times height. This right here, length times width, is the same thing as saying base area because it tells you the area of the bottom of the box that touches the ground. And then we multiply that by height. So if we have all 3 dimensions, we're just going to multiply them side by side. So for this cube, I have length times width, the bottom. The length of this rectangular, if it's not labeled here, I just look this, since it's a rectangle, opposite sides are equal. So this length of 8 would also be that one. So I have 8 times the width, which is 4, times the height, which is 9. Then I just need to multiply. 8 times 4 is 32 times 9. That's not in my head, so I'm going to do that down here. 32 times 9. 18, 28. So the volume for this is 288 cubic units. Remember, they're cubic because they're those little tiny cubes that we put on the inside. Cubic units. All right, let's do one more. Let's look at this one. This one is almost a perfect cube because it's 3 by 3 by 2, but because this one's different, it's not a perfect cube. So volume equals length times width times height. So volume is 3 by 2 by 3. 3 times 2 is 6, times 3 is 18. So this one has a volume of 18 cubic units. So remember, to find the volume, we want to multiply length times width times height, or we can find the base area, how many cubes take up the base at the bottom, which is 9, and multiply it by how many layers, or the height of that object. Good luck with your practice problems.